love. Plus, you can watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows with SiriusXM Video. And you can do it all along with listening in your car as part of our music and entertainment plan. Right now, we're offering SiriusXM subscription plans for as low as $6 a month, plus fees and taxes. Call 844-711-8800 to find out more about these amazing offers.
That move the culture. SiriusXM celebrates Black Music Month with Black Music Forever, a limited edition channel with hip-hop, R&B hits, and breaking music from Black artists. Black Music Forever, throughout the month in the SiriusXM app. SiriusXM.com/BMM for more info.
Where you're not forced to resort to endless rounds of the license plate game to kill time. Stop imagining and start listening to commercial-free music from nearly every genre, coast to coast. Subscribe to SiriusXM, and your music stays with you wherever you hit the interstate or take the back roads. Call 844-711-8800 to activate your radio now.
It's big on the block. Get to the gritty and tell the city the home of the business. We're blowing up online. Hip Hop Nation connects you to the biggest hits in the game. That's the difference when you're my baby. That's how it is when you're just turn up and vibe. Hip Hop Nation, commercial-free hip hop hits. Channel 44 and the SiriusXM app. To hear these channels, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
From across Europe, Clash in UEFA Euro 2024. Hear the action on SiriusXM. From icons
Unbelievable goal
to international powerhouses.
4-1 Germany. This is a statement.
The best of the best battle for the chance to be called champions of Europe. UEFA Euro 2024. Hear live matches and expert analysis in the car on Fox Sports Channel 83 and SiriusXM FC 157, or listen on the all-new SiriusXM app.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, that's
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs, and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you, as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. 600-018-1486.
That's funny to me. 339. Grando Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe. According to me and people who love the universe, and that would include you. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my, won't you be my, won't you be my neighbor? Shut up! Oh, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, I was told you many times I was voted neighborhood spokesperson, and I'm always trying to bring the neighborhood together. Some people don't appreciate it when it's 3 o'clock in the morning. But that's their fault. They voted for me. It's their fault. I don't have 34 indictments, but I do have some neighbors. Some like me, some don't. All fair level work. I want to say what a beautiful day on a Friday, June 21st, 2024. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers. Home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade. the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them sent you, where the good Lord split you. And hopefully the good Lord, he didn't split you too wide. I see a lot of people walking around with a wide gate. If you have a wide gate, maybe the good Lord split you too wide. Or maybe you tried to walk too soon. I want to say, life is so funny. We had the Negro League Baseball honorees down in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama last night. The St. Louis Cardinals beat the San Francisco Giants. I think it was 6-5. What a great game it was. And unlike the Negro League Baseball, there were more Caucasian people in the stadium than there were African Americans in the stadium, if that makes sense to you. But it's all fair and love and war. And it shows if you can support a baseball game, you can also support reparations now, reparations forever. That's my story I'm thinking with it. Don't just stand up and jump up and down and watch us run around bases and play with balls. Everybody likes playing with balls and footballs, basketballs, baseballs. But it's nice to show that if you can support baseball and paying homage to the Say Hey Kid, you can also do what you should do, pay homage to reparations, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. I want to say with Big C Sports Podcast, I'm going to talk some about Major League Baseball, of course, again, and the standings right now. Of course, Willie Mays meant so much to baseball, but if you meant so much, why don't you pass reparations? Willie grew up poor. He grew up down in Alabama, and there were so many things that happened in Jim Crow that made it difficult for African-American men and African-American women. And now we want to stand up for the first pitch. Runners on first and third. They count for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep. Left field, back to the wall. Oh, really? Say hello to my little friends. We love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. The Say Hey Kid is bye-bye, baby. But you can imagine standing up for the first pitch and standing up for the kickoff and standing up for the tip-off. Why don't we stand up for reparations? I wanna stand up on the shoulders of California Senator Stephen Bradford, California Secretary of State, the great inimitable Dr. Shirley Weber, and California Governor Gavin Newsom. We have a lot of good things happening in the world of sports and the world of reparations, and I want to make sure that I do my part. Everybody has their own thoughts about it, but I want to make sure I do that. With Big C Sports Podcast, I produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives. I know I can use more laughter. And then the commercials are done. The stats are provided. The storytelling. I even do the play-by-play. Runners on first and second. That counts for the pitch. Curveball. Swung on. Hit deep. Center field. Back to the wall. It is caught. Caught by Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid. Say hello to my little friend. Next time. I love doing that with the play-by-play. Then the show's uploaded to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City. And I'm in Dimdale Hills, California. If that makes sense to you, then it goes out to 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. And I want to give that some praise. I say give it praise, because we all need somebody to lean on. And I love leaning on somebody when somebody's leaning back. And I love giving that praise, if that makes sense to you. I do also want to say, with Big C Sports Podcast, I love the fact that I've been doing this PSA for about 5 years now, maybe 4. It's called the Veterans Crisis Hotline, because they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. And I've said it many times. They do a good job, more than just say thank you for your service. If you know anybody going through issues, you can pick up the phone and call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give it some praise, because we all need somebody to lean on. And it is always good when somebody's leaning back, and they lean back on the Veterans Crisis Hotline. They know that a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and sometimes people are just stressed out. A lot of times people are stressed out. They don't know what to do. I've had a lot of people reach out to me over the last 2 months and talk about the price of groceries, the cost of gas, food, clothing, and shelter. And I'm asking God of the universe for $6 billion. $6 billion would it be? And I mean it. Why not? I have a good heart to help a lot of people. And a lot of things I want to do with Big C Sports. I'm going to talk about black banking also, because more and more, my mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. You know, I foolishly went and got some fast food today. And I don't know why I did it. I'm not knocking fast food companies because some sponsor my show. But you know, you ever been in a situation where my mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. And then I went and got in the fast food line, and now I got heartburn. See, I'm normally eating, I don't mean to sound stereotypical, I normally eat watermelon for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Oh, there you go with those stereotypes, Big C. No, watermelon is good for you. It makes you go inculcate quite a bit. What's inculcate, Big C? Google it. But I drink a lot of watermelon, or I eat a lot of watermelon, and I drink about a gallon of water every day because I keep my body hydrated. And it's also good, the doctor says, to push out some of the medications that I take for the blood pressure pills. I'm trying to get off of those pills, but I'm going to do it the right way. And so I've been eating spinach every day, like Popeye the Sailor Man. I eat watermelon every day. And then I eat tuna almost every night for dinner. For breakfast, I normally have a banana. I'm not talking about put the banana in my tailpipe. I have a banana for breakfast, or sometime a little energy bar. But I also got to say, I got to keep it real. At nighttime, I love going to bed with a glass of red wine. It sucks going to bed by yourself, but you do what you got to do if that makes sense to you. But I like to go to bed with a bottle of red wine and go to bed with some chocolate. Chocolate is good for you. My mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. And then I got to put the chocolate in my mouth. It's so good. The chocolate tastes so good. It's like lightning strikes. My mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. We want the real Teddy Riley. Was that Teddy Riley? I think it was Teddy Riley. Or somebody say it was R. Kelly. I don't know what it was. But it was me last night. Because I said I was going to give up chocolate for one day. But my mind was telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. And I ate the chocolate. And I don't regret it. I don't feel guilty about eating something that tastes good to me. Because my mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. That wasn't your body, that was the chocolate, Big C. Well, Bill had told me yes. I'm just telling you, it's a happy Friday. I want to say I've been out there working my butt off and talking to customers. And some customers call back. Other customers, they don't call back. And I keep calling. And then some of them say yes. And then we're able to help people. So that's what I love about doing work with the Big C team and the RDC team and Best Line Funding. And I want to say, I really do appreciate so many things that are going on. Of course, talking about baseball last night down in Birmingham, Alabama. And now some good boys. I do have the rankings for Big C's Major League Baseball standings, division standings. I did the Big C's in Major League Baseball power rankings last night, but now I'm going to talk about some standings today. But I also want to get into some banking. I want to show that because there's really, oh my goodness, there's a lot going on with Big C Sports Podcast, and I really do appreciate it. I'm going to just say I have a commercial that I'm going to do, and hopefully the commercial goes over very well. Sometimes my alter ego, he always likes to step inside. But if you have a need for a business loan alternative company, we can approve in less than an hour with the same-day funding oftentimes. 4 months of bank statements, $5,000 minimum monthly revenue, 6 months in business. And we specialize in unsecured working capital up to $5 million. No collateral, early payoff discounts, and it can fund in as little as 1 day, maybe 2 if it's later in the day. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. And when you call them, tell them Big C sent you. My mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. You know, I want to also say that I love paying homage to the California Reparations Task Force, because a mind is a trouble thing to waste. And I do it on every show. And I want to make sure that I pay homage to a group that's out there working to get money for the descendants of child slavery. If I don't do it, then maybe it won't get done. I believe in either lead, follow, or get out of the way. And there are times when people want to say, well, you do it. Well, you do it. In California, there's some assembly bills will be on the State Assembly Appropriations Committee floor Wednesday, June 26th, at the state capitol in California. And it's all about reparations. And to make sure that we are on top of it, we are the press. Last time I was there, no press showed up. I only saw one TV camera. I don't know if they were doing an interview or not, but I was looking for a TV camera. Last year for the Reparations Task Force meetings, there were a lot of TV stations there. But this last time at the assembly, I only saw one TV camera, and that was on the outside of the assembly room. And that's a shame for one of the most seminal moments in California history, where not a lot of people there. So the bills will be on the State Assembly Appropriations Committee floor. That's Wednesday, June 26, 2024. And again, the biggest news in the universe for California's Senate Bill 1331 for funding reparations, Senate Bill 1403 for qualifying for reparations, and Senate Bill 1050 for eminent domain, giving property back or the cash equivalent, like the Just Act, JUST-ACT. What's the Just Act, Big C? It's reparations. Reparations? Yeah, reparations for a group of people. You can Google it. United States Justice Department, make sure they're getting it. And we're next, if that makes sense to you. But you gotta put pen to paper. You gotta put pen to paper. Because the way other groups have gotten reparations, they were not marching 500 miles. They were not marching from sea to shining sea. They were not marching down to Stone Mountain, Georgia. They were going to the courts with the lawyers and submitting their documentation for reparations. That's how they did it. And I think sometimes we think we need to march up and down the street when it's hot, 105 degrees, people out there passing out. And then you have other groups that are getting their reparations. They submitted the documentation to the court. And it was voted on. State of California, Wednesday, June 26th, the State Assembly Appropriations Committee floor. You got to give that some praise. That was sent to me by Double R, and he works with CJAC, a Coalition for a Just and Equitable California. Really do appreciate the work that he does, along with Chris Lodges and so many other people. So I love mentioning that, and because if we don't do it, we can't wait for somebody else to do it. And I love being a part of that with Big C Sports Podcast. I want to always make sure that I mind my P's and Q's. And so not only that, I want to make sure I've already given you a commercial, and then I'm going to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force, because as I say, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And if I don't do it, then it may not get done. You know why? Because a lot of people just want to see the Negro League Baseball. That Major League Baseball helped destroy in the first place, and now they want to go back and they want to pay homage to Willie Mays. But Willie Mays is gone now. And they said nothing about reparations. Back in the days of Jim Crow, they say nothing about reparations. I'm going to talk about African-American-owned bank on today's program, as well as sports too. But reparations will help stimulate our economy. I want to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force. I want to give praise to the inimitable Dr. Shirley Weber, Secretary of the State of California. Love giving her praise. I want to give praise to California Governor Gavin Newsom. Love giving him praise. I want to give praise to Camila Moore. She's the chair, and she's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Amy C. Brown. He's the vice chair. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to give praise to California Senator Stephen Bradford. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. He's like Moses in Exodus, with Moses talked to God, and God said, "Go down into Egypt and tell Pharaoh to let my people go." And Moses said, "Who do I tell him sent you?" And he said, tell him I am sent you. And it's a similar interaction with California Senator Stephen Bradford was speaking at the Senate last month and the Assembly early this month. It's as if he went into the Assembly and God said, go down into the California State Assembly and tell the people to pass reparations. And Senator Bradford said, well, who do I tell him sent me? And God said, tell him I am sent you. And let it strike. And that's what he did. So I appreciate him. I want to give praise to Councilmember Monica Montgomery Stepp. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to our attorney, Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. And she's also specializes in diversity, equity, and inclusion that some states are trying to get rid of. 30 of the 50 states in the United States, if that makes sense to you. And I want to make sure that I give that some acknowledgement. I want to give praise to Dr. Shell Grill. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California, Berkeley. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to give praise to attorney Donald K. Tamaki. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. And you can find out more about what's going on with reparations by following CJAC, which is Coalition for a Just and Equitable California, CJEC-official.org, and you can do that. I love giving all that praise. Everybody has their own opinion about where you get your information, but I love getting my information there. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I gotta give you more knowledge on why reparations are important. And when I do that, it'll make a lot more sense if you hear it from one of the greatest speakers in the history of America and in the world.
Martin Luther King, we had a conversation a couple days ago about handouts and how these right-wing memes, these Republican memes, have infiltrated the Democratic debate to suggest that, ending welfare as we know it, all those kind of things are somehow, great and noble things, when we're not dealing with the underlying problem, which is that there's no economic opportunity there because of insane trade policies and because of Reaganomics. And Martin Luther King spoke to this. Jim and Shane, this is clip number 4. Martin Luther King spoke to this sometime back in the early 60s. And I thought this was a really interesting quote. Here he is.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And this is what we are faced with. And this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
From his speech, The Two Nations of Black America. And it's absolutely brilliant. And the next time some white person talks about, well, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps and my family did too, especially the Bundy boys. I mean, here's Martin Luther King, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., talking about how basically whites stole the West from the Indians with and didn't just steal it. I mean, murdered them. He murdered the Indians in the process and did not give any of these benefits to African Americans for 100 years in this country. It's a strong case for reparations or some variation on it, for rebuilding our cities, for doing right after having done wrong for so many centuries. It is a very, very strong case for that.
May lightning strike! Reparations now, reparations forever. Reparations now, reparations forever. I love saying that because it just makes me feel so good. You know, some people in Congress need to hear this song. My mind's telling me yes, and my body's telling me yes. I want to pass reparations. Big C, can you take the sports, please? Okay, I gotta get my singing voice back. I ate some fast food today, and I have heartburn. My goodness, may lightning strike! If I ever eat another fast food burger, I should have had the Big C burger. What's the Big C burger, Big C? It's made with 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, and collard greens on a sesame seed bun. Where can you get one of those, Big C? It's called Mama's House. Mama cook them like that all the time. Big Grandmama cooked them like that too. And now I gotta cook them like that. I gotta stay out of those fast food places because it gave me heartburn. I should have listened to my instinct because my mind was telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. Now I need some Pepto-Bismol. I need some Tums. Oh my God, I should have done that. Oh, fair level warm. I do want to tell you, I have a commercial that I want to say because it's important to me, and then I want to get into some sports because I got a lot to cover today on a Happy Friday. I want to say a guide to protect, preserve, and transfer wealth, Resource Development Consulting, Inc., in conjunction with the law office of Scott Thibodeau and the law office of attorney George Jones. It's called The Missing Link. Isn't that something? Long-term care by the book. You ever have something by the book? Long-term care by the book. Over 3 decades of experience helping seniors get their benefits. Medicare and You, taking care of tomorrow. In California, it's called Medi-Cal. Other places, it's called Medicaid. And I want to say it's really important to me that I say this commercial because your family and spouse can avoid the spend down for nursing home costs. Find out your options. I promise you, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. Specialized to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits. Protection of your assets without a spend down. Protection of your what? Your assets. Is that Aflac? No, Aflac's the duck. That's Gap Insurance. Like I see a lot of people walking around with a white Gap. Well, Aflac is for the Gap. But asset protection is what RDC does. All paperwork and communication with all government agencies are handled by our staff of entitlement specialists. Ongoing consulting to provide updates as necessary. Now, this is the part where some people say, Big C, you talk too fast. I say, really? And other people say, Big C, you talk too slow. I'm just going to talk the way I talk. You get what you get. You don't throw a fit. Benefits covering skilled nursing facilities, prescription medications, and medical equipment costs. Have you ever known anyone that's dealt with skilled nursing facilities? Have you ever known anyone who's dealt with medical prescriptions? Have you ever known anyone who's dealt with medical equipment costs and more? Not only that, protection of your assets, including your home, thereby allowing you to leave a legacy for your family. Now, have you ever have anybody come after your assets? What, Big C? I said, have you ever had somebody come after your assets? Well, the answer is yes, you have, whether you knew it or not. Probate will come after your assets. If you don't have a will and a trust, believe me, they have a will for you and you will not like it. Protection of your assets. It's important. That's what we do with the RDC team, avoiding the nightmare of debt brought by the government's estate recovery program. Can be from 10 to 40%. May lightning strike. They come after all your assets. I was on the One Gung show today with the great Tim and Marvell. You can hear it Monday through Friday on One Gung. Great podcast show. And they talked about reparations. But would you believe that if you don't protect your assets, that somebody might try to take your stuff? That's why we put alarms on our houses and cars, and we lock up things. You got to lock up your assets through asset protection. We do that with the RDC team. A one-time processing fee versus monthly insurance premiums for the rest of your life. I'm not done yet. Not only that, protection and coverage is insurance coverage required by law, general liability, workers' compensation, lawyers specializing in living trust, Medicaid or Medi-Cal planning for long-term care. Avoid probate, life insurance, veterans benefits, aid and attendance, pre-planning, and avoid the look-back period. And what the trust protects is your fixed assets, your bank account, checking account, savings account, money market accounts, certificates of deposit, life insurance with cash values, fixed index annuities. It also protects your variable assets, real estate, qualified money, IRAs, 401ks, and other investments. You can avoid capital gains. Let's say you buy a house for $100,000. And then 1 year later, that house appreciates to $1 million. According to some real estate brokers, they say what they got to say about themselves. Well, that's a $900,000 capital gains. You avoid that penalty when you have your property in a trust. Over 3 decades of experience, attention business owners, find out your other options to protect what your insurance does not cover. Oh, my insurance covers everything, Big C. Well, if you think so, just send a copy of your declaration page. Just call, and then we'll give you a fair quote. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. And when you do, give it some praise. I say give it praise, because we know our mind is a terrible thing to waste. And I hope I didn't talk too fast for others, and I hope I didn't talk too slow for others. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I want to just get into what happened last night in Birmingham, Alabama, the Negro Leagues, were the United States Professional Baseball Leagues, comprising of teams of African Americans, and the term may be used broadly to include professional black teams outside of the leagues, and it may be used narrowly for the 7 relatively successful leagues beginning in 1920 that are sometimes termed Negro major leagues. In the late 19th century, the baseball color line developed in professional baseball, excluding African Americans. You know, like the Homestead Act, that also excluded African Americans. But it did not exclude white Americans, and it did not exclude white Europeans. Oh, we don't need no reparations. White people have been getting reparations ever since we got here in this country. From 1619 to 1865, they got free labor. Free labor and free wealth with unclean hands. And for people that say, oh, I had nothing to do with that. Oh, yes, you did, because you benefit from the 8th wonder of the world called compound interest. The land that had slaves is still here. The families that worked those lands with slave labor, they still bequeath the benefits of the appreciation of land, of the merchandising, the produce. Those people didn't die off. They just bequeathed it on to the next generation. That's why there's a $14 trillion wealth gap. It was created by slavery. And then after slavery, we had 100 years of Jim Crow. That was unequal treatment by the banks, unequal treatment by a lot of people. And so Major League Baseball goes down to Birmingham, Alabama, last night to pay homage to Negro League Baseball that they helped destroy because the banks wouldn't give loans to the Negro Leagues. The good old boy said, no, I'll not tolerate it. Liberty and justice for all. And that's what they did to tear up the league, tear it apart. But now they show up and they want you to celebrate what they tore down. And they mention nothing of reparations. Because those leagues, the Major League Baseball, it excluded African Americans from league play. The first league was the National Colored Baseball League. It was organized strictly as a minor league, but failed in 1887 after only 2 weeks, owing to low attendance. After several decades of mostly independent play by a variety of teams, in 1920, the first Negro National League was formed, and ultimately 7 major leagues existed at various times over the next 30 years. After integration, the quality of the Negro League slowly deteriorated, and the Negro American League of 1951 is generally considered the last major league season. The last professional club, the Indianapolis Clowns, operated as a humorous sideshow rather than completely being competitive from the mid-1960s to the 1980s. In December 2020, Major League Baseball announced that based on recent decades of historical research, it classified 7 major Negro leagues as additional major leagues, adding them to the 6 historical major league designations it made in 1969, thus recognizing statistics and approximately 3,400 players who played from 1920 to 1948. It was on May 28th, 2024, that Major League Baseball announced that it had integrated the Negro League statistic into its record, which among other changes gives the great Josh Gibson, who pitched until he was 59 years old, the highest single-season Major League batting average, batted .466 in 1943, and the highest career batting average, batted .372. Beautiful, intelligent black man. My father played Negro League Baseball, and he talked about the segregation and the unjust treatment of African Americans by not just Major League Baseball, but society as a whole. Oh, we don't need no reparations. Yes, we do. We deserve reparations. Yes, we do. We deserve reparations like the Just Act. The Just Act is reparations for descendants of Holocaust. Oh, there you go again with your facts. Well, Google it. For anybody that says we don't deserve reparations as descendants of chattel slavery who built this country, Google the Just Act. The United States Department of Justice, along with the German government, make sure that descendants of Holocaust get their reparations as we're breathing. Anybody get anything to say? You either crooked or you're good. Which line do you stand in? The crooked line or the good line? And that's a fact. We got to get real with it because so many times we just want to shuck and jive. I don't want to shuck and jive. I want to talk about something that's important because banking makes everything happen. That's why I love helping people get loans. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. Now, it's not anathema for me to mention this. One of the nation's largest black-owned banks, one of the nation's largest black-owned mortgage companies, expanded in 2021, increased black home ownership in the United States. Legacy Home Loans opened 3 new branches, locations in Baltimore, Maryland, Charlotte, North Carolina, and St. Louis, Missouri. So nationwide, they found, and I'm going to reach out to them with the RDC team to offer our own loan products. That will help a lot of business owners get money within 3 days of an application being completed. The founders of Legacy Home Loans are going to be hearing from Big C Sports, a black-owned mortgage banking firm headquartered in Las Vegas, Nevada, where we have an office with the RDC team, and have opened several new branches in black and minority communities as they continue to make good on the commitment to empowering African-American communities throughout the United States. They have a focus on building sustainable wealth through home ownership and leaving family legacies, said the great Ben Slayton, the president and CEO of the company. Their new branches located in Baltimore, Maryland, is headed up by Stephen Tyree, a lifetime resident of Baltimore since he was a 5-year-old kid, and he brought over 13 years of experience to the mortgage banking and real estate industry. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from the University of Baltimore, and he was very, very good at having strong ties to the Baltimore community, which he loves. He's an advocate in the education of families on financial health, and also through home ownership, and stays true to his passion through servicing in his community, his employees, and ultimately his clients. I gotta say that because with the RDC team being introduced to Legacy Home Loans, to let people know you can have a house, but if you don't have a house in a trust, probate will come after you at the end of life. There's a way to protect that by the book, signed in 1966, Lyndon Baines Johnson. Long-term care entitlement says put your properties in a trust. It avoids deep liability lawsuits. You get that with the RDC team, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. Now, Slayton's commitment for Legacy Home Loans is to lend $1 billion or more in mortgage loans to African-American home buyers every year. Thereafter, to lend $1 billion more every year to our people, they are opening new branch locations in every metropolitan city in the United States that has 25% or more African-American population. And by hiring local mortgage professionals in the communities and giving them tools, loan programs, and resources so they can compete head-to-head with any mortgage lender in the United States. I got to tell you, they're all over the country. Legacy Home Loans have branches in Los Angeles, California, Oakland, California, Atlanta, and Tucker, Georgia, Dallas, and Houston, Texas, Las Vegas, Nevada, Chicago, Illinois, Columbia, South Carolina, and now in Baltimore, Maryland, Charlotte, North Carolina, and St. Louis, Missouri, and hopefully coming soon to California, if that makes sense to you. But I'm going to offer them, you need to add to your portfolio a business loan alternative approved in less than an hour with same-day business funding. 4 months bank statements, $5,000 minimum monthly revenue, 6 months in business. We specialize in unsecured working capital. When you need your money now. When do we want our money? Now. I said, when do you want your money? We want it now. You can almost get it now with the RDC team and Big C Sports. The Big C team, up to $5 million, no collateral, early payoff discounts, funds in less than a day. May lightning strike! 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. And I'm telling you, it's possible when you reach out to the RDC team and Big C team, 800-772-8624. So I will close with this. banks are very important. Many of them, since Freedmen's Bank was created for African Americans after slavery was abolished in 1865, it was signed by executive order from President Abraham Lincoln. But many banks, white-owned banks, they continue to deny African Americans loans. They continue to deny African Americans opportunities for home ownership in any neighborhood they wanted to live in. So we were redlined, and banks paid penalties for that through lawsuits. But most of America's wealth is derived from the equity from home ownership. Today, African American home ownership is at a historic low, about 44%, meaning 4 out of every 10 African Americans own the home they live in. If we work together, we can increase that to somewhere close to 75%. And that's important. It's a process that they can do. And with the Big C team, I want to help them. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. You can get the loan unsecured and then qualify for the loan that may take 30 to 60 days. But if we can get you the money now, within 3 days, may lightning strike if you don't call 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. We need to start building sustainable wealth through home ownership and start leaving legacies for our families. And Slayton has been a leader in the African American community since he became the first African American realtor in America in 1964. Since then, he started to build and sold several successful businesses in the real estate and mortgage industry. I'm telling you, there's so many things that we need to do. You can collide with a hard fist, and sometimes you hit yourself upside the head. I see boxers do it all the time. Why do you hit themselves upside the head, Big C? They try to get ready for the blows from their opponent, if that makes sense to you. At the same time, sometimes we hit ourselves upside the head thinking we have the same opportunity as the mainstream to get a loan, and oftentimes banks, it's a fact, they've looked upon the African American community with their redlining laws. Our money is just as good as anybody else. So that's why with the RDC team in Big C Sports, I want to join with lenders to help create opportunities for business to have alternative funding. SBA may take a long time just to tell you no. If we tell you no, you know within an hour. In fact, sometimes within 10 minutes. But let's just say an hour for goodness sake. But if we tell you yes, you can oftentimes get the money within a day or 3 days. If that makes sense to you, you got to give that some praise. I say give it praise, because we all need some money. If we can give more money to people, I think I heard the Vice President Kamala Harris said they want to start taking this private equity and start investing over $3 billion into community banks. If the community banks are white-owned and they show a history of discrimination against African Americans, why you put the money in community banks? Give it to a black-owned bank. May lightning strike! I don't want to keep going to a community that doesn't want my money or doesn't want to see me get ahead and say, can you please, can you please give me a loan? Call 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, and we will show you the money! Show me the money! Was that a movie with Two Live Crew in the movie? No, that wasn't Two Live Crew, that was Tom Cruise and Jerry Maguire. Okay, but you know the same story. Show me the money! 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I love what I'm doing with the Big C Sports. It's more than just asking people to open up their mind. Sports is a billion-dollar industry. Boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. But you know, if you're a sports league, you need to go to your bank or the local municipalities to get a loan to build stadiums. If you are a sports league, you got to have funding. Funding is everything. The same way white Americans got the Homestead Act, they were funded by the United States Congress. Over 300 million acres of land. Each family, they gave it to white men, getting 160 acres of land. The Emancipation Proclamation offered black men after the Civil War 40 acres. That's 1/4 the amount of land that they gave white people. And black soldiers helped the Union win the Civil War. Isn't that something? Helped the Union win the Civil War, but the Homestead gave white people 160 acres each of land. It gave the black Americans that helped to win the Civil War 40 acres. Never got it, though. That's a shame. So I want to be part of Big C Sports Podcast to help expand on that. I don't want to be shucking and jiving. I know a lot of guys, they just want to shuck and jive. You don't learn anything from them. Nothing! Zero! And that's why I want to be different. Bishop Williams said, we are the press. I want to be Big C Press. You know, Big C Sports is on television, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon and Fire TV. I'm also streaming on 29 podcast platforms. I may not be a household name yet, but I'm going to be. In fact, I hear a lot of people saying, welcome to the show. Where do you think they got that? I got to look at the 2024 NBA Draft. The big board, the biggest risers and fallers. Plus, this is some guys who are going to make a lot of money in the NBA, but they got to have that money come from a bank or an annuity. The 2024 NBA Draft is shaping up to be unpredictable with late movements across the draft boards as teams conduct their final in-house workouts and meetings. UConn center Donovan Clingan has entered the conversation as a player who could go number one overall to the Atlanta Hawks. A 7'1" tall center in Alex Sarr is nearly a lock at number two to Washington. Sarr refusing to work out and meet with the Hawks president. Think about that. Providence guard Devin Carter, meanwhile, he was worked out so well with teams inside the top 10 and could be consideration for the Spurs at number 8, depending on what they do with the number 4 pick. With the late risers throughout the pre-draft process, there are going to be some players who fall outside of the lottery and out of the first round completely. Lottery? Did you say lottery, Big C? Oh, yeah, tonight I won the lottery! I kept saying, I'm going to win that lottery. And I went and bought a ticket. And I knew it was the right ticket because I felt like me lightning strike. So I said, Big C Sports won the lottery tonight. You got to speak things that be not as though they were. I believe it in my heart, mind, body, and soul, just like some of these athletes think they're going to be in the lottery pick also. At the same time, the G League, Ignite forward Ron Holland and Kentucky point guard Rob Dillingham are two players who've been projected lottery picks. There it goes again. I won the lottery. I keep telling myself, and I saw it in a clear picture. I said I won the lottery. The lightning strike. And then I'm talking about the lottery for the NBA lottery also. At the same time, if you think about Green invites went out to 24 players and their families, and there could be a couple of players sitting there waiting until the second night. No matter what happens, when men get the chance to make their dreams come true, I'm happy for all of them. There's a lot of good athletes that are out there. Stocks rising for the great Donovan Clingan, now in the conversation for the number 1 pick. He worked out for the Hawks last week and also has worked out for Washington and Detroit, 3 teams inside the top 5. It comes down to who's making them the pick within Atlanta's organization, and many believe in head coach Quinn Snyder prefers Clingan over other players. Providence guard Devin Carter has been on a steady rise throughout the pre-draft process and could go as high as number 8 to the San Antonio Spurs. He was in the same workout as Stephen Castle, a projected top 5 pick, and his floor is just outside the lottery. See, there it is again. I won the lottery. The lottery thinks he won the lottery, and just outside the lottery to Miami with the 15th pick. Zach Edey has been all over the draft board. That good a boy has the height, maybe like a Shaquille O'Neal. Got to put a lot more muscle on him, though. Throughout the season, he's been on the top of the draft board, but the closer we get to the draft, the more he appears to be a lock not only in the first round, but in the top 20. It's difficult to predict how his size, at 7'4", 300 pounds, will translate to the NBA. But a team that drafts him will use his size down inside the paint to get rebounds and make slam dunks, if that makes sense to you. Illinois guard, the great Terrence Shannon Jr., he has a high upside, was cleared of all charges by a Kansas jury earlier this month and has been conducting workouts leading up to the draft. The senior played extremely well for the Illini in both the Big Ten tournament and the NCAA tournament. He averaged 28 points per game in his last 7 games, and he did not receive a green room invite, but could go anywhere from 25 to 35 in the draft. Deron Holmes II has the upside to be an NBA inside-outside guy with his versatility along the wing, shooting just under 40% from three-point range. He received a late invite to the green room and could go as high as number 23 to the Milwaukee Bucks, if that makes sense to him. Now, there's some other players, too, that maybe their stock is not the same. The buzz around G League Ignite forward Ron Holland has been relatively quiet for a player who was once considered a top prospect in the class. His teammate also think that he's going to be someone that they are going to find a lot of joy in wherever he gets drafted into the NBA. And he dropped back a little bit in the lottery. There it goes again. I won the lottery. I keep hearing about the lottery, and I had a dream about it last night. I woke up all wet. What, Big C? I said I woke up all soaking wet. Is that because you eat too much watermelon at night? No, I had a dream that I had the lottery. The great Rob Dillingham has just started to go through workouts after recovering from a minor ankle injury, and he suffered right before the draft combine. His official measurements at just under 6'2", 164 pounds, has to put some meat on his bones, and were a little alarming to some teams. He's a little bit too skinny, but he's going to lift the weights. He's going to get into the weight room and get him built up. Isaiah Collier was the #1 recruit coming out of high school and had an up-and-down season at USC, dealing with a hand injury that left him sidelined for a month. What he does well on the court is getting downhill and finishing through contact is something that works well. It's going to work in his favor. The NBA, you got to have a lot of spacing. There's a lot of bigger guys who are faster, so spacing is important. I think he's going to do fine. And then there's another player I want to talk about. Bobby Clinton elected to go overseas and play one season overseas in Australia. After a season at Wake Forest, he shows promise as a perimeter threat and floor spacer, but he has not put it all together yet in his 2 seasons leading up to the draft. A 6'10" forward did not receive a green room invite and could fall outside of the first round. But that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. There's a lot of great players out there that really, they grab the attention of the NBA coaches and the owners. And based on that, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. May lightning strike! May your dreams come true, if that makes sense to you. I want to just touch on what happened yesterday with the Los Angeles Lakers making J.J. Redick the new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. He has no experience, none whatsoever. At the same time, there are people who feel that if he could just have the tutelage of Coach Krzyzewski, his head coach at Duke, and in 15 years in the NBA, he knows something about basketball, but he has no experience. I think it's pretty sad that the day after Juneteenth, a white man with no experience gets a head coaching job in the NBA with the second most coveted coaching job in the history of sports in the NBA, and that's the LA Lakers, only second to the Boston Celtics. But he got the job after Juneteenth. All fair and love and war. But sometimes you got to vote for what you want. And that's why I want to also announce, as I also said earlier, I'm big on reparations now, reparations forever. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. But I want to give you, I think it's something that we need to talk about. We need to talk about a way to promote justice. It's all important to us. We got to support justice, and it comes through voting. You got to know who you're voting for. There's a lot of talk about who's going to do what. Everybody has to figure it out. Are we just for sports? Are we just for entertainment? Have you not been entertained? They celebrated the Negro Leagues down in Birmingham, Alabama, with the Cardinals and the Giants. But they said nothing about reparations. And I played you Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech. And I let you hear the part where he says, the next time we go to Washington, we're going to get our check. You rarely hear about that on mainstream TV. So Major League Baseball, to help destroy the Negro Leagues, they integrated Negro League stats to get more Negroes. That's what they still call some people in the closed doors, behind closed doors, to pay attention to Major League Baseball. And then they happened to go down to Birmingham, Alabama, and they said nothing about reparations. That makes no sense to me. Willie Mays played for the Giants. When the Giants come to town, it's bye-bye, baby. But they said nothing about reparations. That's a slap in the face. The whole state of California is talking about reparations. How dare you not? And that's a shame about Major League Baseball. You're either good or you're bad. And for the white people that don't want to talk about reparations, most of the white people in the Senate passed reparations in California. Kathy Hochul, governor of New York, she also has a task force. She's a Caucasian lady. It's not always about the color of your skin. It's about the color of your decency. Are you good or bad? Are you good or bad? We know the history of this country, and we're asking good people, you people, to stand up for the cause that's good. As I mentioned, it's important to know there are going to be hearings Wednesday, June 26th, start about 9 o'clock a.m. at the state capitol in California, just to make sure that people can understand that the bills will be on the State Assembly Appropriations Committee floor Wednesday, June 26th. No matter what you're going through, let's do the right thing. Reparations will stimulate the economy, just like people are telling you to come out to these games and spend several $100s to go see a game. Mostly to watch African Americans to run up and down the court. Touchdown! Home run! 3-point play! Old man Willie, he's going all the way. But why not put that same energy behind reparations? It's the right thing to do. Be on the right side of history. Don't be on the wrong side of history. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, tonight I won the lottery! I know it. I feel it because I kept reading about it with the NBA draft. No matter what it is, I want to see our country come together. I want to see good people doing good things. And the evil people, go back home and go to sleep. If you're a good person and you want to do good things, let's do good things for people. It's not that hard to do the right thing. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. As I always tell you on every Big C Sports, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You could call Uber. You could call Lyft. You could walk it off. You can sleep it off. But don't let some of your love get behind the wheel of the car and start driving after they've been drinking. The life you're saving may be your own, or someone that you love, or someone that loves you, or someone that someone else loves. That's not that hard to make the right choice, especially this holiday. Well, holiday Juneteenth just happened, but just be mindful of that. That drink can wait, people. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I love paying homage to my beautiful family legacy on my mother's side. My great-grandparents called them Mama and Pop. In fact, Pop was a Negro League baseball player. Really do appreciate them. And then love them with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Then my grandparents, Muddia and Hezekiah, they were seers. They could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about that person. And then I can always depend on my mama. I love Muddia with all my heart, mind, body, and soul, and Hezekiah. I could always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and also coaching all boys, the Little League baseball team, to the championship of the universe. Always saying rise and shine. The best person I ever met in my life. I love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. On my father's side, my grandparents, Albert and Alberta Curry, they were pastors. They ran 3 churches. They had 2 gas stations in Oakland. They also owned 40 acres of land, like the Emancipation Proclamation. I was 8 years old, walking through the hallway about 10 o'clock at night. I felt someone touch me on my forehead, and she said, "Excuse me, young man, are you going to get some more cookies?" I said, what are you doing, Grandma? It's 10 o'clock at night. You normally go to bed at 8:30. She said, "What are you doing, young man? Going to get some more cookies?" I said, "Cookies are baby crap. What I'm doing, Grandma, I'm going to get my reparations." And a couple of cookies wouldn't hurt because it's been a long time. You can understand when you're a young boy and you don't think Grandma's up when you're trying to sneak some more cookies. She said, "There's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak." Love my grandma with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure that planes can fly high so we can all stay safe at night. Always saying develop your mind to a size extent. I love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning. When Todd would speak, a voracious reader, always saying go forward. And he would say don't look back because you don't have much backside back there anyway. He thought I had a small backside. My backside is just fine. It's not as big as some people's backside, but it's fine enough for me. That makes sense. Love Todd with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors in 3.5 years from a major university. Daisy, you can be anything you want to be. Always trust God. Isaiah 54:17, that no weapon formed against you will prosper. Don't let junk into your life. You know, when you're an African American, people want to bring in junk. Don't let it happen to you. I love you. You can be anything you want to be. Daisy set up the very first interview for Big C Sports Podcast back in the days at Salem Media. And it was the first time in the history of the United States that NFL Monday Night Football started broadcasting live on the Wall Street Business Network because of two black men in the crew. Daisy, I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You can be anything you want to be. Always trust God, Isaiah 50:17. And then my beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College graduate, very smart, erudite, a good man. Malcolm, you can be anything you want to be. Malcolm helped me save trees. I used to always get newspapers to look up stats for Big C Sports Podcast on players and teams. And one day Malcolm said, Dad, why don't you just Google it? And a light bulb went off. And now I've been Googling ever since, been on 29 podcast platforms and streaming on 4 TV platforms. And then one day Malcolm said, Dad, do you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV and say, play Big C Sports. You'll see your show come up. That's before it was even on the air. And now I'm streaming on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Malcolm, you can be anything you want to be. You're a great man, a good man. Always trust God, Isaiah 50:17, that no weapon formed against you will prosper. And don't let junk into your life. There's no partiality in Christ. I love it with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And then Big C, with all that knowledge over the years, always saying you got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe. Let's get ready to rumble. I love saying welcome to the show. As we nominated Big C Sports Podcast. You see, I have no scripts. I have no three-way teleprompters. I have no producer in my ear. All I have is this gland in the brain called the pineal gland. The ancients called it the third eye. And they say that's how you talk to God. And that's why I scream so loud so God can hear me. I won the lottery, God, tonight. I believe it with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And then as I always tell you, on every Big C Sports Podcast, there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that crap on their own. You need more leader in your life. Leader is an acronym for love is the answer. If somebody's smacking you, I only smacked you because it made me mad. Call 911. If someone's kicking you, I only kicked you because it made me mad. Call 911. If someone's choking you out, I only choked you because it made me mad. Call 911. No man, woman, or child should ever have to put up with that crap. No one. No one should ever have to put up with that crap. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, back by popular demand. Back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He is known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. And every time I listen to Big C Sports, I want to champion reparations now, reparations forever. And then I float like a butterfly, and I sting like a bee. As I close today, I want you to cheer for reparations the way you cheer for the Negro League baseball game down in Birmingham, Alabama last night. You got to champion reparations now, reparations forever. Oh, come on, you can say it a lot louder than that. You cheered loud at the game last night. I want to champion reparations now. I want to champion reparations forever. Oh, come on, y'all said it loud at the baseball game last night. I said I want to champion reparations now. I want to champion reparations forever. I thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope that you have a super fantastic day.